Gold keeps on glittering as the dollar doesn't do well. Okay, but that isn't necessarily a horrible thing. At least it's stabilizing. But can this trade keep going? There's always a man that knows about gold, precious metals, and his name is Peter Schiff. Peter, welcome to Fast Money.
Nice to see you again, Rick.
It's great to see you. You know, we got to spend some time together about a month ago. Let's talk. Is there room for the glittering commodity, the sterile commodity with negative carry to keep on running here?
Look, absolutely. Guy, you didn't miss the boat. Climb on board. It's going a lot higher. Don't worry about people stampeding out of gold for the exits. It's going to be the opposite. They're going to be stampeding out of paper, particularly out of the U.S. dollar, to buy gold. It's going to go straight up. Buy it before that happens.
Peter, what do you own then?
Pete, let me ask this question real quick. And I happen to agree with most everything you said, and you had it spot on last year. You're long gold. What scenario, though, as being long gold, do you worry about? Or is there nothing out there that potentially worries you with that trade?
Well, I worry about a lot of things. That's why I own gold. But I'm not worried about my gold. You know, you talked about the potential for a flight to safety rally in the dollar. I don't think people are going to make that mistake again. That happened in 2008. I don't expect it to happen again.
You'd be surprised how many mistakes people make over and over and over again.
Yeah, well, I don't think they're going to make this one. I think if there's another flight to safety, it'll be to gold, because that's where the safety is. There is no safety in the U.S. dollar. That is the problem. It's because the dollar is so weak, and other currencies, too, for that matter. We're just the biggest offenders in inflationary monetary policy, but that's why gold is strong, and that's why commodities are strong, and that's why stocks are strong, because people want out-of-government paper because they are printing way too much of it to try to artificially stimulate the economy, artificially prop up financial institutions that should be failing, artificially prop up housing prices that are still too high. And as long as they're pursuing this, currencies are going to lose value and gold's going higher.
Peter, are you long any U.S. stocks right now? Your view on the U.S. market, we know is...
I am long a small number of U.S. stocks. I own Chevron. I own ExxonMobil. I own ConocoPhillips. I own Newmont Mining. I own some agriculture names in the U.S. But most of my money is abroad. I mean, most of the value is outside the United States.
I guess where I'm getting to this is gold is certainly a defense of a policy failure, not just U.S. but anywhere in the world. So where are you investing that you believe they are immune to policy failure? I mean, you talk as if this is a one-way trade.
No, nobody is immune.
Absolutely, and agree with the premise. So I want to hear from you where you're most worried about in these markets that you say are, first of all, these are much more immature markets. These are people that probably have greater propensity to unravel in their policy.
Yeah, I mean, nobody is immune, right? It's kind of like investment triage. You have to invest in the countries that have the fewest problems. And, and I have a lot of gold because everybody has problems. But I have a lot of money in Asia. I have a lot of money in China through Hong Kong, through mainland China, through Singapore. I have money in Southeast Asia. I have money in the resource countries of Australia, Canada, Norway. I've got money in Switzerland. I got money in other European countries. I'm spreading my money around the world. I'm trying to concentrate more on resources, on raw materials, on energy, on mining. But I also have basic industrial companies, and I own a lot of REITs and a lot of utilities around the world. But I understand that the big shift is going to be wealth away from the United States, out of the dollar. America, our living standards are going to fall. The living standards in other countries are going to rise. And I want to be on the receiving end of that wealth transfer. I want to own for myself and for my clients assets and currencies that are going to be rising in value relative to the United States.
All right,
Peter, is there a sector?
There's a challenge here. Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
I have Peter Schiff saying the sky's the limit. Let's get that song Stairway to Gold Heaven. I have Guy here who is very nervous. There's going to be a 300-point trap door where you go through the bottom. Is there any way Peter's convincing you?
No, look, Peter, he's been right, so he can continue to be right. But what worries me is nobody that's bullish in gold has a scenario where it can go down. There has to exist a scenario where gold can go lower.
It can go down in the short run. Can it drop $100 or $200? Sure, but I'm not worried about that. I'm looking at the long term, and unfortunately, the long term is bright because the picture is bleak for the U.S. based on what the Federal Reserve and the government are doing to destroy our economy.
Peter, we have to go, and I agree with a lot what you said, but we are at 75 in the dollar index. We're not at 65. It's just the outlook isn't good, but it hasn't fallen through the floor.
Believe me.
But it's a pleasure to have you. I'm sure we're going to see more of you.
I was going to say,
we'll be at 65 and we'll be lower before too long.
All right, we're going to bring you back when it gets there, and I hope we don't not see you for 2 or 3 years.
You'll bring me back before it gets there.
There you go.